Frank, what do we got going?
Okay, right now we're preparing to do differential cylinder compressions, which checks the condition of the rings and valve train and any other problems the cylinders may have as far as compression. It's done through this neat little gauge here. You pass air through this, through calibrated 80 psi. It goes to a calibrated 40 thousandths orifice, and then you measure the residual pressure that the cylinder can hold.
Excellent. What are we looking for?
We're looking for broken or bad rings, which you would have air coming out of the crankcase vent. We're also looking for exhaust problems or valve problems, which you could hear coming out the carburetor or the exhaust pipe. You're also looking for, you actually hear cracks, but we're going to pressurize these cylinders with 80 pounds of air and see how much they hold. Okay, so what we're preparing to do now is check the magneto to engine timing to check when the magnetos fire, both left and right, relative to the number of degrees the piston is, relative to its rotation.
So what's that thing? Where did you get that yellow thing? What's that with the rubber bands?
You'll learn. Let me go on here, then we'll make a video later. Okay, now, so the first thing we want is number 1 on compression. Now, how do we know which is the number 1 cylinder?
Up here. This is number 1 up here.
Right, so put your finger over the hole.
Finger over the hole here, over the spark plug hole.
Right, it ain't gonna bite. There's no. Well, actually, don't put your finger by the spark plug wire. Okay, now feel it coming up. Okay, let go.
Okay.
That's coming on compression.
Okay.
Right there's 5 degrees after. Back up, and that should be about 0. Now, the timing marks on this thing. Notice here's the timing marks on a Lycoming.
Timing marks are on the flywheel?
Yep, now see there where it says TC?
Yes.
Okay. That's top dead center. Now you see that dot carved in the starter right there?
In the starter, yeah, okay.
Okay, now, when you carefully line that up, that's it. Now, the next step, don't touch the prop. Now here's where it gets a little bit technical. Now we're going to find when the thing actually fires using this device, which is a magneto timing line.
What are the major ADs you typically see?
The problem, seat rails.
Uh-huh. I got the pilot side replaced on mine just last time.
Now me, on flight school airplanes, I tend to be, sometimes I'll cut the right side a little bit of slack, but not with flight instructors, because if you go in the back seat with primary students, that sucks.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've been there, done that on a twin Comanche too. Crashing the airplane sort of sucks. Getting out of the crash really sucks. Landed with the brakes wide on the airplane, went instantly upside down. Now we're hanging there upside down and nobody around. And of course, you know what's going to happen when you pop the seat belts, and my shoulder's still bad from that incident. Anyhow, so back to the Aztec. So I took off in a little bit of slush on the runway, retracted the gear, go to wheeling. Now they're having an air show there, right? I'm getting ready, come down, select gear down, and clunk, clunk, clunk. 3 green lights. What the hell, land? Clunk, what? Boom, 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 down the runway, nose gear claps, down the runway. So climb out of the wreck, you climb out of the airplane, that's a bitch when the airplane's sitting like that, right in front of the air show. So the people, I get out of the airplane and they're clapping, they thought it was part of the air show act, wrecking an old airplane. So I just got on, took a bow and gets a piece of shit off the runway. We put 2 props on, got a ferry permit, took it home and fixed it. Had to fix the nose gear doors amongst multitudes of things. Next good wreck, CAP. Took off on a black ice runway.
Civil Air Patrol?
Yes, sir. Took off on a black ice runway with a colonel. And you know, runways are crowned. And the colonel started to pour the coals tote off to the side. And I said, Colonel Dalton, sir, you might want to depart center line here. We might get away from us. I was flying for you and itching your daddy's pants. Off the side of the runway, right in the drainage ditch. Here we are, straight up again with a nose stuck in the ditch with the nose gear busted off.
And with the colonel?
Yeah, and I said, well, Colonel, must have been one hell of a niche, sir. Next one was real rocket science. I was in Glendale, West Virginia, and decided to take off in a Piper tri-pacer. Carburetor was leaking fuel like a classy maintenance. Anyhow, I turned the fuel off and went to take off. Bullshit, forgot to turn the fuel off. Got in the airplane, took off, and got about 10 feet off the ground, ran out of gas, went in the cornfield off the end of the runway.
Did it mess up the airplane? Did it bend it
No,
up?
hell no, we just took a machete, carved out a runway, turned the gas off, took off.
You took off out of the field.
Yeah, hell yes.
Cool.
Well, we back taxied through the corn and then, cut down the big stalks. So we went tear the prop up and went back to the runway and took off. Then there was the time we landed on the interstate and took off. I don't really want to delve into that one. That was spectacular. That was national news. The CR. Done it twice in the same day. It was a Panther. We had it in for inspection. My British boss was a goof. And I had it up on Jackson. I found out that the nose gear trunnion was busted almost clear in two. And then he decided to take it off of Jackson, fly it, and then, to discontinue the event for inspection. So the kid that was checking the gear left the gear selector up, took it on the ramp, fired it up, sucked the nose gear up, and went kaboom, bang, bang, and went down on two props and on its nose. Then he took off on his Navajo, and then when I pulled the nose up, pulled the nose down, I went to move it. Never thought that I pulled the uplock hooks on the main gear. As I turned it, went, and the left main went down. So wrecked that airplane twice in the same day. And there's another one with another Navajo that's a creative maintenance story. The props came up due on the Hartzell AD. So thus we sent them off, got them back at L&R on the prop crates. Got in a hurry, put the props on, pulled it on the ramps, lit the airplane up, and it went backwards.